everyone.
So, उद्यमेनि सिद्ध्यन्ति कार्याणि न मनोरथे. It means success comes through efforts, not merely by wishes. कल विचारों ने नई दिशा दिखाई थी, आज उन्हें नए आयाम देने का समय है. कल संकल्प की नींव रखी गई थी, आज संभावनाओं को पंख देने का समय है. I, Yasha,
And I, Netra Shah, we are honored to welcome you all to Day 2 of the CA Students National Conference 2026, Sankalp, One Vision in Finite Possibilities, organized by the Board of Studies Operation and hosted by the Ahmedabad branch of WIRC of ICAI and Ahmedabad branch of Vikasa.
Before we begin today's incredible journey, let's take a moment to look back at unforgettable Day 1. From the inspiring insights of renowned speakers to thought-provoking sessions on the AI revolution, market masters, and wealth creation strategies, yesterday was filled with learning, innovation, and inspiration.
And how can we forget the fully energetic musical night where we danced our hearts out and forgot all our worries?
So guys, be ready to show that same level of enthusiasm today also.
The enthusiasm in this hall, the curiosity in every discussion, and the eagerness to learn made Day 1 truly remarkable. It was a day that challenged perspectives, sparked ideas, and encouraged us to think beyond boundaries.
So, before starting our today's session, let's have a beautiful shairi on CAs, which I think so everyone will love it. So it says like, CA, તારી ડિગ્રીમાં મને મારો પ્રેમ દેખાય છે. CA, તારી ડિગ્રીમાં મને મારો પ્રેમ દેખાય છે. પોતાને અરીસામાં જોઉં તો કોઈ પ્રેમી પ્રેમમાં બીમાર દેખાય છે. હરી ફરીને ઘડિયાળને જોઉં તો તારી રાહમાં જોયેલો સમય દેખાય છે. જો CA સાહેબ સાંભળું તો સવારની પહેલી પ્રાર્થના લાગે છે. જો તારું પોઝિટિવ રિઝલ્ટ વાંચું તો ભગવદ્ ગીતા લાગે છે. જીવન જીવવું બહુ અઘરું છે, પણ જો તું હોય મારી સાથે તો જિંદગી જીવવી એ સહેલી લાગે છે. I think so everyone has felt relatable and I think so everyone has same love for the CA degree. But sir, problem CA से नहीं है, हमें तो रिजल्ट का डर लगता है. तो उस पर मैंने कुछ लिखा है जो कहता है, रिजल्ट શું કહેશે કે તું કેટલો સક્સેસફુલ છે. રિઝલ્ટ શું કહેશે કે તું કેટલો સક્સેસફુલ છે. ક્યારેક સમય મળે ને તો પોતાની મહેનતને જોજે, પોતાની મહેનતને જોજે.
We often see success come through effort, not mere wishes. Even a lion does not get prey while sleeping. कल विचारों ने नई दिशा दिखाई थी, आज उन्हें नए आयाम देने का समय है. कल संकल्प की नींव रखी गई थी, आज संभावनाओं को पंख देने का समय है.
So, I think so everyone has enjoyed last evening, right? Everyone has danced a lot, everyone has music feeling, right? So, आज भी हमें उतनी एनर्जी बाकी रखनी है, क्योंकि कल तो अभी ट्रेलर है, पिक्चर आज है असली वाला. So, are you ready, guys?
Are you ready?
So, with 3, 2, 1, I would like to hear Sankalp, One Vision, Infinite Possibilities. So, 3, 2, 1, Sankalp!
One vision, infinite possibilities.
So, as we begin today, we all know that today there are esteemed faculties who are coming over here and going to address you. And I think so everyone is excited for every single faculties, right?
So, before we begin today's incredible journey, yesterday was filled with learning, innovations and inspiration. And कल वाली म्यूजिकल नाइट तो सबको याद ही होगी. The enthusiasm in this hall, the curiosity in every discussion, and the eagerness to learn made Day 1 truly remarkable. It was a day that challenged perspectives, sparked ideas, and encouraged us to think beyond boundaries.
I think so enthusiasm is in this hall high or not? So, चलो एक CA पे एक और शायरी हो जाए. जो हम सबको CA करना है, right? किस किस को CA बनना है? I think so all. But CA करने के लिए हिम्मत चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए? तो उस पे लिखा है, सीए करना हो तो सोचा नहीं करते, सीए करना हो तो सोचा नहीं करते, जो भी रिजल्ट हो उससे डरा नहीं करते। अगर लड़ने का ना हो जज्बा तो सीए के मैदान में यूवी साहब उतरा नहीं करते। And so, if the day 1 has set this much of level of benchmark, the day 2 is really ready to raise the bars even higher. Today, we have an exciting lineup of distinguished personalities, industry leaders, and experts who will share their experience and insights and successful stories.
So, guys, get ready for another Power Pack Day filled with knowledge, motivation, networking, and opportunities to grow.
So, are you ready, guys? So, पहले एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जानी चाहिए। हम गुज्जू से हमारी आवाज तो दिल्ली तक पहुंच गई है, इस कॉन्फ्रेंस हॉल के बाहर पहुंचनी चाहिए। एक बार फिर से
How is the Josh, guys?
लगता है किसी ने ब्रेकफास्ट नहीं किया।
How is the Josh?
क्या क्या था ब्रेकफास्ट में? आई थिंक सो, अगर किया हो तो पता होना चाहिए ना।
અરે અમદાવાદની એનર્જી આટલી લો ક્યાંથી થઈ ગઈ? મેં પૂછ્યું કેમ છો?
મજામાં?
જો દ્રષ્ટિમાં સ્પષ્ટતા હોય તો રસ્તાઓ જાતે જ સર્જાઈ જાય છે. જો સંકલ્પમાં શક્તિ હોય તો અવસરો અનંત બની જાય છે.
हाँ. So, as we CA students, we all make sankalps every day, but sankalps are not achieved if it is not backed by hard work and continuous efforts. So, हम सब ने संकल्प बना दिया है कि हमें सीए बनना है, राइट? तो अभी हम में से कितने लोग यहाँ पे मेहनत करने के लिए तैयार है? इतने कम लोग। 100% होना चाहिए तभी सीए का निकलेगा। So, हम सब मेहनत करने के लिए तैयार है और हम सब आज दिखाई भी सही मेहनत, क्योंकि कल इतनी बेहतरीन शाम के बाद इधर आके सुबह सुबह बैठना। Have a huge round of applause for all of you guys that you have come today.
જેને પોતાના લક્ષ્ય પર વિશ્વાસ હોય છે એને રસ્તાની મુશ્કેલીઓ ક્યારેય રોકી શકતી નથી.
So, મુશ્કેલીઓ તો બધાના જીવનમાં આવે છે, બરાબર છે? બટ કોઈક લોકો હોય છે જે મુશ્કેલીઓથી ડરીને પાછળ ખસી જાય છે અને કોઈક લોકો હોય છે જે મુશ્કેલીઓને પાર કરીને 7 સમુદ્રની પાર જતા રહે છે. અને આપણે તો સીએ છે, બરાબર? હું માનું છું કે ફ્યુચર સીએસ નહીં, વી આર સીએસ ઓર નોટ, વી આર ધ ફ્યુચર ઓફ ધ કન્ટ્રી. સો આપણને ગમે તેટલી મુશ્કેલ આવે, આપણે આજે એક પ્રોમિસ પોતાનાથી કરવું છે કે ગમે તેવી મુશ્કેલ આવશે હું સીએને છોડીશ નહીં. કે હજુ ડાઉટ છે? આઈ થિંક સો અહીંયા બેઠા છે બધા એન્ડ સુધી પહોંચવા જોઈએ. આપણે બધાએ સ્ટાર્ટ ફાઉન્ડેશનથી કરી દીધું છે. સો સીએ ફાઇનલ ઇઝ આર ગોલ. ગમે તેવું પેપર આવે, ગમે તેટલા અટેમ્પ્ટ્સ પડે, વી શુડ નોટ સ્ટોપ એટ ઓલ. એમ આઈ રાઈટ? અવાજ તો નથી, બધાનો મને અવાજ નથી આવે, એટલે અમુક જણ છોડવાના છે નહીં? સો વન્સ અગેન, એમ આઈ રાઈટ? नाइस. सो अभी तो सीए तो बन ही गए हैं. अभी एक चीज़ बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, सीए बनने के बाद क्या? चलो हम सीए तक तो पहुंच गए. अभी सीए बनने के बाद एक बहुत ही बेहतरीन जर्नी शुरू होती है जो सीए से की जर्नी से भी बहुत बढ़िया होती है. और उसमें हमें नॉलेज चाहिए, विजन चाहिए. सिर्फ पढ़ाई कभी काम नहीं आती, उसका प्रैक्टिकल इम्प्लीकेशंस काम आता है. सो हम आर्टिकलशिप में सभी लोग प्रैक्टिकल इम्प्लाई करते हैं, बट कितना? जितना प्रिंसिपल ने बोला उतना करने का, बाकी अपना क्या है. ये एटीट्यूड चलता है या नहीं चलता? नहीं चलता, पर हम तो चलाते ना भैया. हम क्या, हम तो आर्टिकल से 10 बजे आने का, 6 बजे चले जाने का, राइट? सो आज इस कॉन्फ्रेंस हम एक सीख और लेना चाहेंगे कि आर्टिकलशिप में हम सीए तो बनने वाले हैं, आज अब सबने फाइनल किया है. सो आर्टिकलशिप में हम पूरा सीखेंगे, 1-to-1 प्रैक्टिकल सीखेंगे. ना ही हम ऐसा एटीट्यूड रखेंगे कि ये मेरा काम नहीं है, बट ये एज अ मैं सीए हूँ और मैं ऑडिट कर रहा हूँ, मैं रिटर्न फाइल कर रहा हूँ. आर्टिकलशिप में आज से बाद कोई कमी रहेगी या नहीं रहेगी? रहेगी लगता है. तो फिर सीए कैसे बनोगे? चलो सीए बन भी गए, बट अगर प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज नहीं है तो सीए बनने का क्या ही फायदा होगा? क्योंकि आई नो हम सबको पता है कि कई सीएस जो पढ़ लेते हैं बट उतने सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो पाते जितने जो सीएस है जिसने प्रैक्टिकल सीखा है. सो पढ़ाई काफ़ी नहीं है गाइज, प्रैक्टिकल इम्प्लीकेशन भी काफ़ी ज़रूरी है. सो आर यू रेडी टू गिव 100% इन आर्टिकलशिप्स? आज के बाद हम करेंगे 10 बजे आएंगे, 6 बजे चले जाएंगे. यस आई थिंक सो, क्योंकि उसमें मेरे को नो नहीं सुनाई दिया. सो चलो हम एक नेगोशिएशन करते हैं. चलो हम आर्टिकलशिप में शिद्दत से काम करेंगे. जो नहीं आया वो पूछेंगे, जो नहीं समझ आया वो दूसरी बार समझने की कोशिश करेंगे. बट ये मेरा काम नहीं है, ऐसा एटीट्यूड तो नहीं रखेंगे. पक्का? आर यू रेडी टू लर्न? ओह नाइस. सो कल कितने ने क्या सीखा? कल इतने सारे स्पीकर्स आए. वी हैव अमेजिंग स्पीकर्स राइट. सार्थक सर, दीपक सर, सबने हमें अच्छा सुनाया. हमारा ध्यान कहीं और था लगता है. काफ़ी मोटिवेशन मिला. किसी ने कुछ सीखा, वो कुछ शेयर करना चाहेगा जो उन्होंने कल सीखा? क्योंकि आई थिंक सो कल सभी ने तालियां तो बहुत बजाई थी. राइट? Anyone would like to share their experience of of yesterday? Okay, sir. Can we have one mic?
One mic, please.
ओके सो हम आपका एक्सपीरियंस सुनेंगे, ज़रूर सुनेंगे. मैं एक बार ऑफ डायस आ जाऊँ, आप मेरे को ज़रूर अपना एक्सपीरियंस सुनाना. बट नाउ एज वी आर स्टार्टिंग विद द डे 2, हैव अ ह्यूज राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज गाइस.
So, get ready for another Power Pack day filled with knowledge, motivation, networking, and opportunities to grow. Now, as we begin with our first session of day 2, I would request CA Rinkesh Shah sir, Chairman of Ahmedabad branch of WIRC of ICAI, and
CA Sahil Gala sir, Chairman of Vikasa Ahmedabad branch of WIRC,
to escort CA Dayanivas Sharma sir, Central Council member of ICAI, and CA Purushottam Khandelwal sir, Central Council member of ICAI and Conference Director, onto the dais.
Along with them, I would request Miss Harsha Patel, Vice Chairman of Vikasa Ahmedabad, to join the dais. Have a huge round of applause, guys! So now I would request everyone on the dais and off the dais to stand up for the ICAI motto.
येष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति येष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रदब्रह्मा तदब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Thank you so much, guys.
I would request respected CA Purushottam Khandelwal sir and respected CA Rinkesh Shah sir to felicitate our esteemed guest CA Dayanivas Sharma sir.
Have a huge round of applause, guys. तालियां रुकनी नहीं चाहिए. तालियां रुकनी नहीं चाहिए.
In today's world, Success is no longer about knowing everything. It's about becoming exceptionally good at something valuable. The profession is no longer defined only by compliance, it is being redefined by expertise.
In the world filled with information, expertise stand out. In a crowded marketplace, specialization get noticed. And in the future of professional practice, niche is not an option, but it is becoming a new normal.
And that brings us to our topic for today. Niche is the new normal, specialization in CA practice.
So friends, some professionals build successful careers, but while some leave a lasting impact on an entire profession.
And today we have the privilege to welcoming one such visionary leader whose journey reflects excellence, innovation and dedicated service to the profession of chartered accountancy.
A chartered accountant, information system auditor, certified forensic auditor, CA Dayanivas Sharma sir brings with him over a 2 decade experience in auditing, accounting, corporate restructuring, valuation, due diligence, transaction advisory, and financial management services.
Through transformative initiatives such as self-service portal, UDIN, the new ICAI website, digital learning hub, CA Connect portal, finance and tax literacy drive, and the WeCare portal, he has played a significant role in driving technology-led changes within ICAI.
His contribution has not been limited to technology alone. He has been instrumental in introducing forensic standards, strengthening peer review processes, and promoting specialized certification programs in emerging areas of technologies and assurance.
This remarkable contribution earned him the confidence of members across the country, leading to his election and re-election to the Central Council of ICAI.
He contributes to several prestigious bodies such as XBRL India, the Quality Review Board, Peer Review Board, Financial Reporting Review Board, and Taxation Audit Quality Review Board.
His leadership journey includes serving as chairman of the Board of Studies Academics, chairman of the Digital Re-Engineering and Transformative Committee, chairman of the Center of Excellence Hyderabad, and vice chairman of the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, along with active participation in numerous technical and non-technical committees.
His influence extends beyond the profession through his association with various national and international organizations.
Interestingly, his passion for finance began long before qualifying as a chartered accountant. He was actively associated with stock market activities and has also been an AMFI qualified professional.
And his contribution is recognized internationally as well, including being honored as a Young India Visionary by IMG Innovative Media Group in the UAE.
His journey is a shining example of how knowledge, innovation, and service can come together to create meaningful change.
Friends, leaders create success for themselves.
But visionaries create opportunities and inspiration for generations to come. So please join us in extending a warm and a thunderous welcome to the dynamic,
Visionary,
and highly respected leader of our profession,
CA
CA Dayanivas Sharma sir.
Have a huge round of applause, guys, for him.
Good morning. Good morning. आप कुछ मजा आया. These two gentlemen, one man and one lady, spoke about my profile in such a detailed manner, right? Talking about so many things. But there is a real person behind it, which let me share with you all young and dynamic kids. One fact, which I do not hesitate any time to share, because my failures might give you lot of motivation to do it right. Such a long profile they read that I have done so many things for the profession. But let me tell you, my dear friends, I just took 14 attempts to pass CA. How many? They talked about, I have done a lot with Board of Studies, the entire new curriculum which you are seeing, that activity which has been done. I was fortunate to be the chairman Board of Studies where we actually reached out, modified the entire syllabus. Just imagine a person who took 14 attempts to pass CA was made as a chairman of board of studies. How lucky I should be, no? What does it mean? What does it mean? It means that if you have a right path in your mind, failures will come, but remember one thing, success is always yours. I am the same person who got twice 0 in information technology paper. And I am fortunate to say that the entire digital transformation of the institute I have been one of the most important contributory to get your SSP portal, to do your AI and ICI, to do what not we are going to talk about. So just imagine from a 0 to hero. It's only at institute. The success stories actually speak on itself. You don't have to demonstrate, you don't have to fear, you don't have to give answer to anyone. And one person which I always loved to tell you is, I was thinking that I am very good. But there is one person who always I got influence with is no other person than Purushottam Bhai. A round of applause for this gentleman. Not because of any other thing. Friends, one thing I tell you, we happened to go to London together for an institute work. There I met his both daughters in London. And the best part was, these two girls, so little and tiny, but totally independent in their entire approach. एक फादर को है ना इतना बड़ा जिगर होना पड़ता है बेटियों को बाहर भेजने के लिए और ये आदमी जब मैं इनको देखा मैं पहली बार the way he was interacting with his daughters and the way he was giving motivation to them. Honestly, I am a father of a daughter and I realized that my daughter, the confidence which I need to give it to my daughter should be something like him or little like him, whichever way. And just think about your father and your mother, the way they have given you support to reach till here. Don't you think they deserve a huge round of applause for the love and affection? And it has to be louder. It has to be louder. It cannot be so less. Little louder. And you can shout, whistle, you do anything. That's for the love of parents. Little louder. I don't think still वो मदर फादर के पास पहुंची नहीं है ये आवाज अभी तक अभी भी सोच रहे क्या माँ बाप का प्यार कम दिख रहा है मेरे को तुम लोगों के पास लिटिल लाउडर एंड शाउटर माँ बाप कभी है ना बच्चों को हारते हुए नहीं देख सकते बट वही माँ बाप रहते हैं जो बच्चे हारते हैं ना तो उनके पीछे खड़े रहते हैं So remember this all throughout your life. What we are going to talk about niche is a normal, the new normal. But sanskar is always going to be normal. What we live with. We have Sanjeev Bhai here, who is a Central Council member and a very dear friend, Accounting Standard Board Chairman, very important person of the Institute. Rather, the first committee of the Institute is Accounting Standard Board and he is the chairman of that today. A round of applause for him as well. Chairman, compliments to you that you have such wonderful young team which is going to lead the nation in time to come. Unmatchable, unbelievable. My wife actually came in, just saw and she left. And she said, I can't imagine that so many students can be there at one place. I am from Hyderabad. Hyderabad also has a lot number of students, but this number of participation is the rarest I have seen. God bless you all. When we talk about niche is a new normal, let me tell you one story. When I qualified after taking that 14 attempts of passing, my father told very clearly that, you cannot join my practice. And neither, if you want to start your own practice, you start your own practice or go for employment. But you cannot join me. Then I decided, I'm just making it short because we have started a little late. I decided to get into practice. Almost 6 months I took to analyze what I should be doing. You will not believe my office was a footpath, and I used to carry my tiffin because I was not having any office, neither I had any job in my hand. So I used to drop my wife to her office, think what I should do, and I used to move around. One thing which came to me was, if I had to have a competition, who should be that person to understand if I want to do something good in practice? So I started evaluating which is the firm 1, firm 2, firm 3, and the firm 4 came was of my father's own firm. And then I said, if my competition has to be there, has to be with my father's firm, not by any other firm. If I am able to beat my father in his practice, I beat the entire practice in a true sense. And you will be surprised to know the way I have evaluated. Why I am talking about, if you're talking about practice, today practice needs huge amount of quality. Job is very easy to do. Take it from me, because you have a framework in which you need to sit and work on. But the point is, when you get into practice, you need to know what I want to do. And just believe me, when I was doing that evaluation, I was saying, okay, A firm, B firm, C firm, D firm is doing. What is different which I am doing? And that is where the new thought process came in of what kind of practice I need to set up. A person who took 14 attempts, a person who got twice 0 in information technology paper, today we are a team size of almost 200 people. And more than 300 people qualified from my office in last 20 years. Just imagine. Why I am sharing you this? If I talk about a generic statement, it is not going to take you anywhere. But if I talk about a failure story which converted into some kind of success, you will be able to catch certain things out of it. And you will not believe the kind of unique engagements which we do. See, today what is happening is most of the time our CA curriculum is predefined with that 6 papers that need to be qualified. Every person is not expert in that. You might be doing your articleship in a firm which is having more of a trust related work. In certain firm in which individual and partnership firms are there. In some firms which there are large corporates are there. Now tell me, is any firm different or low quality? What you can do in a trust, obviously I cannot do if I get an exposure for a corporate client. A corporate client, when you are handling, you cannot do anything with regards to trust. Now someone asked me what is there in the trust that can be done. But shall I tell you one thing very interesting, which no one knows? The fact is, entire private equity and venture capital funds only run on trust and trust models. All across the board. Few lakhs crores is being managed by those trusts which are being created for the people. And the money which is coming in. If you understand the family trust matters very well today, that is the demand. So people have to understand when you are doing your articleship, that is for 2 years, what is that you are getting exposed to? I am getting exposed to income tax, I am getting exposed to GST, I am getting exposed to audit, internal audit, what I am getting exposed to. And once you understand that, and most importantly, I'll tell you, dear friends, very critical, I think I can request Purushottam Bhai and the chairman that let Ahmedabad be the first place where we call it as a mentorship program for chartered accountants who are into practice. Example, I am doing practice in corporate. Purushottam Bhai is doing practice in the IP, right? And then Rinkesh is doing in income tax. Can there be a probability that you can go and interact with people to know where I need to get in? There are 5 people sitting in 5 different rooms. And in that 5 different rooms, you are able to go and interact with them to understand what is the future of this particular area of practice. You can be a general physician. Today, general physician also has a huge demand for your information. But niche. You are a heart surgeon, you are a neurosurgeon. Similarly, you are a tax expert, you are a systems audit expert, you are a forensic expert, you are this, you are that. What is that need to be done? And I think you have one important thing. I'll tell you, in the current era of technology, there are two things which are going to be very relevant. Whichever law, income tax is income tax, GST is GST, corporate law is corporate law. But most importantly, the common language for all the laws in India is going to be information technology. The country is working towards integration of laws. What do you mean by integration of laws? That it is income tax, GST, labor laws, corporate law, anything. What is happening is all laws are getting subsumed in one simple portal, which is Digital India, in which all the knowledge is getting accumulated. And that knowledge which is getting accumulated, you should be in position to pull out that information, do a right analysis and move forward. The compliance related practice is slowly going to go off, because technology is going to take over the entire thing. Now, what is going to be important? The processes which are going through, the systems which we are processing the transaction through, that audit is going to be the most important, which is a systems audit. Number two, because it is completely automated, now the thing will be, once it is automated, what is going to be important? Compliance is gone. Information system audit is going to be relevant. And then the fraud, forensic investigations is going to be very critical. Because now the engagements will not come to you to do a small audit. New Companies Act has been proposing that we should have a exemption in small audit kind of thing. What is going to happen, I don't know. But still, the point is, most importantly, are you able to understand the systems processes well? Number two, are you able to understand where there can be anomalies, frauds, and what kind of detections that you need to work on? Without having knowledge of income tax, GST, accounting standard, auditing standard, take it from me, you cannot be a great expert in any other area. You need to have your fundamentals very strong. Till that time only you are going to be recognized. Unfortunately, today the fundamentals are kept aside and we are only talking on the top line, which is more of a fancy names, including AI. Right? So my point to you all people is, fundamentally, when you talk about niche to be working on, don't forget, auditing profession is requiring an expertise in auditing. And you should know standard on auditing very well. That is our niche. That is a fundamental niche which we are talking about. Accounting standard, Ind AS, these are our niche. Not technology alone. Again, I am telling you, if you are qualitatively strong, if you know the income tax law well, if you know GST well, then you are actually a niche chartered accountant. First, you have to be a niche chartered accountant, then you top it up, your experience with technology, forensic, investigations, systems audit, DPDP, so many things are coming up over a period of time. Now, the point is very simple. How do you learn? You only have to learn from the syllabus what is there for you, or there is something more that can actually happen. You attend conferences, undoubtedly this is a very nice place to network with people. But the most important point which I would like to drive you is, the more you use technology for learning, don't sit only with the reels and all that Instas, Pinstas and everything. At least in a day, 20 to 25 minutes, 30 minutes of your time, give it for the new things which are coming up. Why AI is actually to be questioned. There is a lot that need to be discussed. Like example, we are talking about AI in ICI. Now we have for students Aura, which is there. Attend those conferences, very important. Number two, information system audit standards are being made by ICI. We are the only institute and the first institute in the world to come out with our own information system audit standards. If you are getting groomed with that, just imagine the depth you are going to have. We are the only institute in the world which has got the forensic standards. Now you will not believe, your own Gujarat has two universities, National Forensic Science University and RRU, which is Rashtriya Raksha University, in which the graduation is being done. Like you all have done graduations. Similarly, the graduation is being done in fraud and forensics. And our institute forensic standards are the syllabus to that. So now you are going to compete with a non-chartered accountant in time to come. Are you getting ready with your niche, which is your fundamental accounting principles? That is something which you need to look at. But trust me, the only thing which I would like to tell, these 2 years of your articleship are the best period, because you can ask anything what you want to learn. After qualification, people have got that little ego that I am a chartered accountant, can I actually learn that? Right? So finally, one thing which I would like to tell you all people is, you are entering the era where the profession is transforming to a total different level. And the beauty about this profession is that it is not restricted to India alone. We are very much in demand across the globe, and don't be surprised the day when ICI is going to launch its international curriculum. That means a country-specific curriculum which is going to come, where people are going to write their exams in those respective countries where they are living in, and they are going to compete with you also. And finally, the most important point is the demand of Indian chartered accountants across the board has been very high. So my only message to you all people is, be ready for facing the world, not India alone, because the demand across the board is going to be very high. And I can only say, I don't want to compete with you people. You are most intelligent people. Rather, I am a little person behind with old time, right? But yes, would love to work with you all. Might be any opportunity coming forward. From a set of this entire bunch of people, if 1, 2, 3 people are going to work with me, honestly I am telling you, I am going to learn from you, because you are a way ahead when compared to what we are doing it now. My best wishes, and only remember one thing, love towards your parents. एक चीज़ याद रख लो भैया, अगर सीए पास होना है और ज़िंदगी में सक्सेसफुल होना है ना, माँ बाप के चरणों में बैठे रहना, ऑटोमेटिक सब अच्छा हो जाएगा. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Your words was genuinely very motivating for our today's generation. It's an honor that we have a chance to heard you.
I would request CA Rinkesh Shah sir and CA Sahil Gala sir to felicitate CA Purushottam Khandelwal sir, CCM and Conference Director of ICAI.
Have a huge round of applause for them, guys. To express our gratitude on behalf of all the participants, I would now like to invite CA Purushottam Khandelwal sir, CCM and Conference Director of ICAI, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Have a huge round of applause for CA Purushottam Khandelwal sir.
Good morning, respected Sunday Council members and my dear friends, Dayaniva Sarmaji, who came today morning from Baroda to Ahmedabad. He was Baroda for the attending one conference, and on the request, he came to Ahmedabad to address, and just he is going to Hyderabad. Chairman of the branch, Rinkesh Bhai, Shahil Bhai, Vikasa Chairman, Hashya. Of the dais, my Chairman of the ASB Accounting Standard Board, Sanjeev Singhal ji, Fenil Bhai, Shikha Madam, Rakesh Agrawal ji, Samir Chaudhary ji, and all my dear fellow future chartered accountants. Sir, it's a pleasure for me to be here to heard the Dayaneva Sharma ji, one of the finest men I know whom आपको जैसा बोला है इनकी पेरेंट्स का ध्यान रखता, मैंने उनको देखा हुआ है कि इनकी मदर बीमार थी तो ये आधा टाइम तो हॉस्पिटल रहते थे, पापा को इतना सा भी प्रॉब्लम हो तो सब काम छोड़ के उनकी सेवा में जाते थे। तो बोलता है कि सबसे बड़ा तीर्थ माँ बाप की चरणों में है, तो वो दया भाई से सीखना चाहिए। और ये इतने ही हाईली सक्सेस है जो आप AI इन ICI इतना जो कुछ भी देखते हैं ना, आपका सेल्फ सर्विस पोर्टल उन्होंने मिल के किया है, तो आपको मौका है कि इतने अच्छे लोगों को सुनने को मिला। सर कम, थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग एंड द स्टूडेंट, थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you so much, CA Purushottam Khandelwal sir. Thank you, CA Dayaneva Sharma sir and CA Purushottam Khandelwal sir to be there.
अधूरी है हर वो बैलेंस शीट जिसमें पर्यावरण का नाम नहीं, और बेकार है हर वो तरक्की जिसका कुदरत से कोई वास्ता नहीं। Greetings everyone. I Rajendra Solanki,
And I, Priyanka Pamnani.
your MOCs of this session.
Imagine a world where a company's success is measured not just by its profit margin, but by the health of ecosystem it impacts. That is not a distinct dream, but it is a reality of green accounting.
The world is no longer just auditing financial capital, but it is auditing environmental capital. And that brings us to the core of our next session, green accounting, the future of reporting. प्रियंका, શું તમને ખબર છે આપણા સેશન એક્સપર્ટ કોણ છે?
Of course, उन जैसे visionary leader को कौन नहीं जानता? The one who is a role model of thousands of chartered accountant and CA students. दृढ़ संकल्प, अखंड विश्वास, CA સાથે દેશનો વિકાસ.
I request Fenil sir, immediate past treasurer of WRIC branch. I request CA Sia Agarwal Sikha ma'am, treasurer of Ahmedabad branch of WRIC, to escort our respected session expert CA Rakesh Agarwal and session chairman CA Sanjeev Kumar Singhal, CCM of ICI on the dais, along with Parth Rathod, MCM of Vikas Ahmedabad. Please give a huge round of applause. I would also request our paper presenter, Ms. Hiral Khandelwal, Ms. Chanel D'Souza, Ms. Mukti Jain to join on the dais. गलती हो गई। मैंने इधर कट किया ऊपर।
Today, it is our distinct honor and privilege to welcome a personality whose professional journey is a true inspiration for all of us.
Rakesh sir is a CA and partner at PwC, focusing on ESG services, sustainability reporting and assurance within the assurance practice.
Before rejoining PwC, Rakesh sir has spent over a decade at Reliance Industry Limited, where he held senior leadership roles including Group Head at Sustainability Reporting, Group Head at IFRS and India Center of Council, Group Head at Governance, Risk and Operations.
Rakesh sir is a chartered accountant, also attended Harvard Business School alumnus and MIT Solon alumnus. He has 10 plus ESG certification from 2024 onwards, each more than 150 to 250 hours.
I request CA Shikha Agarwal ma'am, Treasurer of Ahmedabad branch of WIC, to please come on stage and felicitate our session expert CA Rakesh Agarwal sir.
I will also request Fanil sir to please facilitate. Yes. Please, Sanjeev sir. I will also request Sanjeev sir to please come on the dais.
I request Fennel sir, to facilitate our session, Chairman C.A. Sanjeev Kumar Singhal sir.
Please give a huge round of applause. Please, go on.
I request Shikha ma'am and Fennel sir to please facilitate our session chairman C.A. Sanjeev Kumar Singhal sir.
Please, guys, give a huge round of applause. एक संकल्प लेकर आज हम सब इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में आए हैं,
देश के कोने कोने से फ्यूचर चार्टर्स अपना विजन साथ लाए हैं।
जहां राहें खोलती है हमारे लिए इनफाइनाइट पॉसिबिलिटीज।
उस संकल्प 2026 के मंच पर हम सीए राकेश अग्रवाल सर को लाए हैं।
संकल्प 2026 में તમારું હાર્દિક સ્વાગત છે આદરણીય સીએ રાકેશ અગ્રવાલ સર. પ્લીઝ give a huge round of applause for our Rakesh sir. I will request Rakesh sir to please address all the audience.
Good morning, everybody. I am sandwiched between two extreme personalities. First, the students who will be presenting in depth after detailed research using AI, perhaps. And second is session chairman who has a vast experience. However, I'll be focusing on a situational example directly leading to all the three paper presenters. First, the footprint, that is carbon footprint measurement. Second, the transitional part of assurance. And finally, the assurance part of it. Now here, what I would like to mention, I would like somebody to share it on the screen, and I'll just take 6-7 minutes of yours to walk through the common aspect, which is digital trust. Can I see it also on the screen somewhere? The three paper presenters will be presenting three different aspects. A, footprint. B, net zero. And C, assurance. I presume that they would have devoted 35 to 40 hours on each of that. Additionally, session chairman would come out with his vast experience as an ex-chairman of Sustainability Standards Board and also the client service roles, including interaction with governments. They are the best presenters for that. Now let me connect the dots using starting from footprint to trust, because the common thing across all the three topics is the trust and the speed of trust using technology. What we are going to see is simply disruptive. What we are going to see is a situational example where things are connected, starting from NASA satellite images, trickling down to 30-meter pixel of a particular region, aggregating those 30 meters by 30 meters and 1 million pixels for creating a meaning. After creating the meaning, using science-based information to process the measurable outcome, and using those science-based measurable outcome followed by ground truthing, and then finally linking it to the three paper presenters and our profession of audit. And this is a live situation done by myself with my hand. Starting with here. This is the map of Mumbai. Everybody, when we talk about sustainability, People talk about green, biodiversity, global warming, climate change, so on and so forth. Mumbai, if I have to oversimplify, is 30 kilometers by say 20 kilometers, or we may say 50 kilometers by 30 kilometers. So let's analyze millions of data points from remote sensing done by NASA, which is downloaded pixel by pixel, and here is the outcome. This finally goes to the client report when you're doing it, say, for example, smart cities, and a lot more. And there is a role of chartered accountant to play in that. I'm directly coming to the output, and in between, I'll quickly touch upon the process part, because the focus is key skills, expert session. So if you look at what it looks at, there are regions which are green. When we compare the changes in 10 years, same time, same date, same month, over 10 years, you will see that few areas there is an increase in temperature by 20 degrees Celsius. And in few areas, there is a reduction by 14 degrees Celsius. This pixel by pixel analysis is then projected using common topology, and there is an overlay of the graph. The findings are: the mean surface temperature remains unchanged, which is 41 degrees. The NDVI, which is an index of green, is 0.13 on a scale of 0 to 1. Generally, your client, as an hypothetical example, will question, there has been an increase in global warming, why it has remained same, and why your study can be backed up? And is it certified by any institution of trust? Park that question for now. In terms of process, if you look at year after year, again downloading pixel by pixel, then making a common size statement and linking it out. The question is the how aspect which is there. Typically, you know that NASA band 10 out of 15 bands that it has is in relation to NDVI, and band 4 and 5 is in relation to infrared. So using the set scientific formulas which are noted on the right-hand side, you do the processing of information right from data acquisition to change detection to overlay. In other words, these are your work steps. Whatever we do, it has to be audited. So if you look at the work steps, say if you look at this part on the extreme right, you see a Mumbai coastal road where the impact is treated as red. You see on the left-hand side, there is an aero ramp which has been an urban crawl, so on and so forth. In other words, whatever was there on the heat map can be validated to ground trooping. And in terms of statistical law, for every 1 million pixel, if you have taken a sample size of ground truthing of 593 pixel, it gives you 95% level of confidence. In other words, the papers that you generate are defensible. That is, there is an auditable approach around that. Once you go to the client, and the client says, give me the real conclusions. So obviously, most of the real conclusions are backed by the findings. We end up having all kind of disclosures, and the application part is what we need to do outside of the findings. Now here I take a pause, and I would like you all to think through. When each of the paper presenters are presenting, and I'll follow them, I'll come back, commenting on whatever they are presenting, the three aspects. A, once we take ESG within the fold of chartered accountancy professional practice or pursuit, what are the key skills as an expert that we need to take care of? This I'll come back after the presentation of the individual presenters. Additionally, there are a lot of things to connect the dots with respect to financial discipline, the governance part of it, the transitional part, the framework related part, the target related part. Here, the much bigger thing that I would like you all to think is, traditionally, people started with 100% wound and post audit. Then it went to test check. Then it went to control environment and assessment, followed by test check and further use of data analytics. In ESG, we are getting into an era where whatever we do as a profession, there is an alternate profession, which is computer science graduates, startups, and others who are developing products that will just verify the information 100% on its own. And this is the live example of calculating footprint for the entire city in this case, calculating net zero, that is whatever is the increase versus where it is getting the offset. And in our case, it was green with respect to mangroves and Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and followed by assurance, which is 100% check and not a test check. With this limited submission at this point of time, the expert part of it with respect to ESG, I would like to make some further twists and turns. CO2 can be measured using remote sensing. SOx, NOx, AOD can be measured using remote sensing. Third-party assessment can be done at a speed and skills required 2 to 3% of what earlier chartered accountants used to think in terms of execution of those efforts. And it can be industrialized at scale. So from the perspective of combination of, when you talk about wind cycle, hydrological cycles, each of the field has its, including traceability, which is a hot topic, or biodiversity assessment, where you use acoustic and sound recognizer sensors and then apply certain models to come out. All these things are emerging at speed and scale that we need to take it in our fold into our profession, or a separate specialization built over a period of time. When connected with our conventional timeless learning of accountancy, audit, and related areas, and above all, the ethics of the profession, is something that we would like you all to think through while the presenters are presenting, and thereafter I'll give comments on their sessions. Here I'll take a pause, so nothing like thank you and those kind of stuff, and I'll hand it over to the session chairman.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights. संजय सर बुला लो, संजय सर को बुला लो।
I would request our paper presenter, Hiral Khandelwal, to present her paper on her topic.
Please give a huge round of applause.
Very happy morning to one and all present here. I didn't get your morning wishes. Hello, everybody. Give me a cheer back. Hello. One more people at the back. मेरे को पता है आप अपने busy schedule से यहाँ पे 2 दिन बैठने आए हो, but still I am like shaking here. So I just want your hello, so I'll be free and talk like normally. So once again, hello future chartereds and hello fellow chartereds. A very happy morning. Respected to you, sir. Regards to you. I am Hiral Khandelwal, standing right here. And today, in the next 10 minutes, I would take you through the topic which is the most emerging responsibility for our profession. And that topic is CA's watchdog role in ESG reporting. So first, I would take you through a fact. This fact is going to bother everybody in the room. 40% of the claims online are false, deceptive, exaggerated. We as the CA students, as a CA interns, as a CA articles, we deal in numbers every single day. Is this number striking? Well, yes, it is. Not because the number is large, but because this number is not yet alarmed by the people. Nobody is concerned. In our profession, if 40% of the financial statement disclosure turns out to be misleading, it would be a national crisis. And here, this number is misleading and no one is concerned. It's just called as an awareness issue. So that's where our profession steps in. I would take you to the context of the topic, and that is ESG. ESG is one of the important aspects and fastest growing areas in corporate transparency. That is leading to an alarming growth in greenwashing. We'll understand the meaning of greenwashing in a while. Till then, I would say in India, SEBI has mandated BRSR report, that is Business Sustainability Report. The report is mandatory in India, but there is no verification. Disclosures are provided, and there is no assurance infrastructure. And that is the gap we as a profession need to fill. We'll understand what does this greenwashing means. Anatomy of greenwashing. Greenwashing is not always an outright lie. It contains a spectrum, and that spectrum has 5 levels. First, vague claims. Claims as in eco-friendly packaging, a leaf drawn on the packaging. Sounds harmless, right? But that's level 1. Level 2, and that is selective disclosure, which means disclosing only the quarter profits, which are good numbers for the company, and the 3 other quarters is hidden behind the information. Level 3, double the carbon emissions while double the production. That means the production is increasing, yet the company is showing that the carbon emission has drastically reduced, which technically doesn't fit. Is it? It can't be painted in the picture as the production is increased and carbon emission has been decreasing. Level 4 is false certification. Level 5 is outright fraud. A most infamous example would be Volkswagen Dieselgate. Now what happens here? They were being granted many environmental awards, but their carbon emission was 40 times the legal limit. Let it settle in. Awards, 40 times the legal limit. No match. Yet the awards have been granted. Let's move to more real examples. And first one would be Deutsche Bank's 2022. Security Exchange Commission and German regulators investigated Deutsche Bank's fund. It was about USD $25 billion. And the company claimed it includes sustainability and ESG factors in the funds. And when the investigation was done and the results came out, it showed that what the company disclosed and what the ESG factors included in the fund were far beyond than the disclosures. Second example, it would be Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank. Now what happens here, they were launching many environmental advertisements, and then they were also financing many fossil fuel projects. Now how can the two contrasting things can be on one line. You are launching advertisements and your balance sheet is containing pipelines. Somebody is needed to see both the coins so that we understand what's going on in the bank. So these were two real examples which made global headlines. Let's move to the body of the topic, that is ESG. Now, what does ESG means? ESG is the three-pillar framework used by investigators, stakeholders, regulators to understand non-financial position of the company. E stands for environmental factors such as climate changes, water usage, waste management, etc. Second one, S, social. It includes social factors such as human capital, which includes labor diversity, labor changes law, many labor's other laws and regulation. Last, G, is governance. It's our home base. That is audit quality, remuneration policy, board independence. Now, PwC 2022 survey disclosed that about 79% of the investors claimed they would divest where the ESG performance of the company is poor. You can understand this through this graph where 90% to 60% has been changed. That is nothing but the divestment by the investors. It's not just a philanthropy. It's a risk management. It's not an act of kindness for the company. It is a drastically management of risk. Let's move and understand to another topic, and that is green finance. Green finance is not like a claim which is claimed to be a green is not green finance. As we say in English, everything that glitters is not gold. In Hindi, हर जो चीज़ चमकती है वो सोना नहीं होती. The same applies for green finance. Everything that is claimed green is not green finance. Green finance is nothing but a financial activity where environmental development and financial improvement lies on a scale. It includes examples such as waste management, electric mobility, water usage, renewable energy. Next, I would take you through a question why India specifically needs to focus on ESG. As I mentioned earlier in the beginning, in India, SEBI has mandated BRSR report, Business and Sustainability Reporting, which was mandated for the top 1,000 listed entities from financial year 2022 to 2023. India is one of the first countries to mandate this report on a large scale. And we are proud that we are on that scale. But as I told you earlier, when the disclosures are given and the assurance infrastructure is lagging or it is weak, it can't be the real disclosures. The disclosures can't be trusted. And that's the problem. And where the problem comes in the financial world, a CA is first one to enter it and try to solve. So let me take you to the role of chartered accountant. The first, we are known for giving assurance. So the first role is assurer. A CA is best placed to provide assurance on ESG report. The same way as the CA performs audit on financial statement to check the completeness and fairness, the same way it has to check accuracy, and completeness of ESG reports. It had to comply with international standards such as ISA 3000. Other than that, it has to also comply the framework such as Global Reporting Initiatives and SASB, Sustainability Accounting and Standard Board. And then the final is to provide opinion. Second would be the advisor. Beyond assurance, a CA can serve as a consultant and provide information for building a robust framework for ESG data maintenance so that the audit could be performed smoothly, which includes designing internal controls for ESG, then providing suitable frameworks, risk integration and risk identification processes could be held and the advising could be completed on that. Third would come is professional skepticism in ESG. When the CA assures ESG report, it had to ask questions like whether the carbon offset claims are verifiable, whether the methodology is being followed consistently or is changed year on year. And the fourth one would be the whistleblower, is that we have to flag the material misstatements and we have to also refuse the pressure and withdraw if needed. The last would be the graph which shows the reporting and the assurance differences could be viewed from the graph. That is, the assurance has been given, but the assurance has been given from the year, but it is not to the mark year on year. The next would be paths and challenges. These are skill gap which is lacking in the profession. That is, not every profession is known about the sustainability science. Second would be conflict of interest. Not every CA who is providing the assurance and who is advising should be from the same entity. Third would be the metrics. Metrics is that where ESG reports cannot be quantifiable, so we need to maintain quantitative KPIs. And the path forward I would mention is that CA curriculum should include ESG studies, and then they have to also provide a mandatory assurance certificates. And the last, I would conclude, because my time has been over and the bell has been rang for 2 times. I'm so sorry, sir. But I would conclude that the people doesn't need more green reports. It needs someone who can tell what is green and what is painted green. And that's where a profession steps in. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hiral. It was really wonderful. Now I will request Chanel D'Souza to present her paper on Net Zero on Paper, Assurance Challenges in Sustainability Reporting. Please give a huge round of applause.
In 1912, the world witnessed the launch of a ship that people could not believe. The pride of engineers, the symbol of perfection. Any guesses? The Titanic. People admired it, people trusted it. But the most dangerous question, people stopped questioning it. Because on paper, it looked flawless. The safety reports gave confidence. The claims started sounding convincing. Quick show of hands, how many of us here have ever trusted something simply because it looked convincing? Interesting, because even back then, thousands of people did exactly the same thing. They trusted what looked convincing. And then came the iceberg. Not visible from a distance, not dramatic in the beginning, but powerful enough to expose the difference between what looked fair and was actually true. Today, more than a century later, companies are building their own Titanic, not with steel, but with sustainability report. Companies proudly declare, we are carbon neutral, we are climate responsible, we are net zero. But the true question is, are the companies truly sustainable in practice or merely sustainable in paper? And that question brings me to the heart of today's discussion. કેમ છો અમદાવાદ? અરે આવાજ નથી આવતો. કેમ છો અમદાવાદ? Esteemed dignitaries on the days and off the days, respected session chairperson, my lovely co-paper presenters, and the wonderful audience. Warm regards of the day. My name is Chanel D'Souza, hailing from the vibrant coastal town of Mangalore, standing before you to reflect on that same question which has become increasingly important in today's corporate world. Net zero on paper, assurance challenges in sustainability reporting. Because being sustainable today is no longer a choice. It's a brand, it's a reputation, and it's a business strategy. Companies want to appear green. They proudly declare we are carbon neutral, we are climate responsible. Investors want ESG score, customers want ethical brand, and companies want to appear green. Because of which, every sustainability report today looks like a CA student's LinkedIn profile. Strategic thinker, visionary leader, future-ready professional. But attempts kitne lage? Still stands hidden because verification has become easier than presentation, and that exactly is the problem with sustainability reporting too. Historically, financial reporting and sustainability reporting are different. In a traditional financial audit, as an auditor, you're expected to verify things which have already happened. Transaction, invoices, communication. Basically, evidence that leaves a trail behind it. But in sustainability reporting, you are expected to verify things that you cannot see. Carbon emission, climate assumption, supply chain data across multiple countries. So the question no longer remains about sustainability reporting, but how can the auditor trust the data that is being reported? Bouncer लग रहा है? कोई नहीं, शुरू से शुरू करते हैं. Before we talk about assurance, let us first try to understand what exactly are we trying to assure. Net zero on paper. It is when companies appear to be environmentally sustainable through disclosures. But reality tells us a whole different story. In simple terms, greenwashing wrapped inside glossy PDFs. And that is where the real storm begins. Because even a beautifully drafted report can hide some ugly truth between its pages. Wondering how? Let me take you to Germany. The automobile giant Volkswagen once positioned itself as environmentally sustainable, clean diesel, low emissions, sustainable innovation. The world applauded, and for the longest time, it looked perfect until investigators revealed something really shocking. The vehicles had been fitted with software specifically designed to cheat emission tests. As a result, the largest sustainability narratives collapsed overnight. Over 11 million vehicles affected, $30 billion in claims and compensation, and massive loss of stakeholder trust. My dear friends, reports can be manipulated, estimates can be triggered, and systems can be engineered. And this exactly is the problem with sustainability reporting too. So let us discuss our first challenge, lack of standardization. Everyone is trying to measure sustainability, but not everyone is measuring it the same way. In financial reporting, we have established framework, Ind AS, standards on auditing. But sustainability reporting operates through multiple frameworks, different matrices, different assumptions, different methodologies. For example, company A discloses scope 3 emissions extensively, whereas another company barely discloses them. So how can the auditor give consistency when the measurement itself lacks uniformity? Which brings us to the second challenge, data reliability and internal control issues. Financial data flows through structured ERPs, but sustainable data comes from multiple sources, vendors, factories, estimates, assumptions. One broken formula link, and the emissions will start falling faster than our confidence did after the recent CA final AFM question paper. And then comes the biggest challenge of all, Scope 3 emissions. These are the emissions created indirectly through the company's entire ecosystem. And nearly 70 to 90% of the majority companies' emissions are Scope 3 emissions. Think about this. Auditor is expected to provide sufficient appropriate evidence about something that company itself does not control. And then comes the most dangerous one, greenwashing and aspirational disclosures. Companies today proudly declare, we are carbon neutral, we are climate responsible, net zero by 2040. But those disclosures fail to explain the aspirational directions, statistics, claims. And that is why professional skepticism becomes more important than ever. And finally, we have the gap between limited assurance and reasonable assurance. Most sustainability reports today receive only limited assurance. In simple terms, limited assurance is listening to a story and believing it. But reasonable assurance is verifying whether that story is actually true. And many stakeholders fail to understand this differentiation. They believe that limited assurance is same as reasonable assurance. The ESG reports are verified with the same rigor as that of financial statements. And that tells us something really important. The future of assurance is no longer confined to our balance sheets and profit and loss account, but it is environmental, it is social, and it is sustainability driven. But perhaps the biggest question of all, in this world overflowing with ESG claim, climate promises, and future assumption, who will assure the credibility behind them? We will, the chartered accountants will, because ICAI has not created professionals merely to audit numbers, but professionals capable enough to question what others simply accept. And that is why ICAI's motto feels more relevant today. Ya Eshu Supteshu Jagrati, the one who remains while the world sleeps. While the world is relying on superficial sustainability claims, our responsibility is to stay awake. My dear friends, Titanic did not sink because of lack of data, but the warning signals were ignored. The greatest disasters in the history have not taken place from lack of information, but from lack of questioning. And that exactly is the spirit of Sankalp. Not merely imagining a better future, but capable enough to question if we are genuinely building one. Because the history and the future does not need net zero on paper. The future needs net zero in practice. हर रिपोर्ट को हरा रंग देने से जमीन हरी भरी नहीं हो जाती. कार्बन क्रेडिट्स खरीद लेने से जिम्मेदारी पूरी नहीं हो जाती. सच्चाई का हिसाब भी ज़रूरी है जनाब, क्योंकि सिर्फ नेट ज़ीरो लिखने से दुनिया सस्टेनेबल नहीं हो जाती. जय हिंद, जय ICAI. I take this moment to thank our esteemed session chairperson, dignitaries on the dais, and Vikasa Ahmedabad for providing me with this opportunity. And to the lovely audience, thank you for your patient listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shinil. What a wonderful paper it was. I would request Mukti Jain to present her paper on topic Footprints to Figures, the New Age of Carbon Accounting.
Hello everyone. Every breath you take and the product you make, every rupee you spend and the policy you defend, all leaves a mark. For all the hundreds of years, the company's worth was calculated based on 3 financial statements, that is balance sheet, profit and loss, and cash flow statement. But now, the 4th statement will be returned, which will not be in rupees, but in tons of carbon. Yes, you heard me right. Well, hello everyone, this is Mukti Jain, and today I'm not going to talk about some AI revolution, tax amendments, or audit compliances. I'm going to tell you how to become rich, not just by money, but also in terms of sustainability and credibility. Well, आजकल जैसे ही Instagram खोलो, 10 में से 7 लोग बस पहाड़ों पे घूमने जाते हैं. अब मुझे छुट्टी मिल नहीं रही, so सोचा मैं फोटो से ही काम चला लेती हूँ. So this is a valley of Himachal Pradesh. But guess what? It is not original and real, like your office colleagues. But when I remove the AI beautification and filters from this photo, it looks like this, transitional, right? Same goes with the company and the planet. हाथी के दांत दिखाने के कुछ और खाने के कुछ और. When we say India is growing, evolving, and entering into new horizons, what we are strongly missing out is carbon emissions, loss of forest, water delusion, and immense disruption. And here comes into the story, carbon accounting. Well, on a lighter note, you must be thinking this is another technical concept and have no relation with the implementation and value addition. But just give it a thought, yaar. A very smart, beautiful woman standing in front of you delivering something cannot be useless, right? खैर, मेरी तारीफें तो चलती रहेगी. Let's walk on to what actually is carbon accounting. So, it is the practice of measuring, tracking, and reporting the carbon numbers which are arising due to the operations of the company. Carbon accounting is like calorie counter for your business. Now, what to measure, what to track, and how to report. So, the carbon accounting can be done through 3 scopes, which includes all the sources जहाँ से carbon emissions can be recorded. Next is tracking. You have to track कि आप जो कर रहे हो उससे कोई result आ भी रहा है या नहीं. And lastly, you have to report things down. क्योंकि आजकल की दुनिया भरोसे की बुनियाद पे नहीं चलती है. They demand proofs, right? Now let's understand these 3 scopes in detail. Scope 1 is like direct emissions. So whatever assets are owned by the company, so for their procurement, for their operation, for their day-to-day usefulness for the company, how they are affecting the carbon emissions in the atmosphere, they are reported under Scope 1. If I talk about Scope 2, all the electricity and the power which is being utilized for the operations are reported. But how? So there is a carbon electricity grid. कि इतने units of electricity पे इतने carbon numbers report किए जा सकते हैं. While the scope 3 is very important. From 2025, in India, for top 1,000 listed companies, it is being mandated that you also have to report the carbon numbers which are lying in your supply chain. That is, all the suppliers and vendors which constitute more than 2% of the sales and purchase, you also have to report the carbon numbers of them. बहुत ज़्यादा technical हो गया, right? Okay, tell me, how many of you love pizzas? Great. So एक pizza के example से समझते हैं. Assume you are the owner of a pizza cafe. So first thing is the gas oven and all the assets you own in your cafe are the reason जिसकी वजह से you have to consider scope 1 carbon numbers. Scope 2 is electrical power. That is, आप कैफे में जो भी aesthetic lights and all लगाएंगे, उसका जो भी carbon emission पे effect होगा, you have to report in scope 2. While in scope 3, raw material कैफे तक आता है, कैफे से आपका customer तक deliver होता है. All that will be reported under scope 3. Well, if I talk about the statistics, for a service industry, scope 3 comprises around 75% of the numbers. After 2025, the companies are highly being affected by this scope. Well, there are exceptions, of course. जैसे कि if your industry, if your company is highly into manufacturing heavy machines, then their scope 1 will be highest. जैसे कि Tata. But this is pure statistics about the service industry. Well, moving forward, If I talk about real company, Infosys have reported their scope 1 number to be 8,800 tons. Under scope 2, they were 38,000 tons. While, to your shocking, scope 3 reported 1,80,000 tons. Now, हमने ये तो देखा कि how to measure and track, but how to report and where to report. So, जैसे accounting के लिए होता है GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, वैसे ही carbon accounting में होता है GHG protocol, greenhouse gas protocol, according to which you have to calculate and report your carbon numbers. Now, how this can be done? So, for India, there is BRSR report. So, under BRSR, there is section C under which you have to report your carbon numbers. For European and USA companies, there are different other websites. For global, apart from them, there is IFRS S1 and S2. And also, there are voluntary and discretionary platforms like Carbon Disclosure Project and Global Reporting Initiatives where you can report the carbon numbers for better credibility. Now, ये सब तो हो गई ज्ञान की बातें, पर हम carbon accounting करें क्यों? So, from 2025, there is India's first compliance carbon market under which 700 companies across 9 sectors comprising 700 million tons of carbon are now enforceable for legible carbon targets. And there is no other option. Either you have to earn those carbon numbers or you have to purchase them. Now the companies are not just viewed by their profits, but also how credible and sustainable they are. अब ये सब करना ही क्यों है? What are the benefits from this? So, firstly, when you report the carbon numbers, your cost of capital drastically reduce. If you want institutional buyers, which are on international market, then they check your ESG reporting. They check your carbon numbers. Secondly, when you go for taking loans from the international market, your cost of capital, the interest rate drops drastically and negotiable. Well, if I talk about the real-time impact and which are the industries which really did this for their benefit, I'll talk 2 examples. First is Apple and second is Mahindra. What Apple was facing problem was 70% of its carbon numbers were flowing in the scope 3. That is from its supply chain. What it did was, it asked its suppliers to adopt the renewable energy resources so that the carbon numbers will reduce and he have to report less numbers. Or you have to lose Apple as your contractor. As a result, Apple was able to reduce those scope 3 numbers from 70% to 45%. If I talk about Mahindra, Mahindra have to take the loan from the international market, but he was facing the credible issues and sustainability issues. So what it did was, he started disclosing the carbon numbers in BRSR report and adopted GHG protocol. As a result, he was secured green financing at preferential rates and also able to get international institutional buyers. Now, अगर मैं बात करूं कि हमारा इसमें क्या फायदा है? So, in 2025, this market stands at $23 billion, while in 2031, it is projected to be $98 billion. And for this carbon accounting, the most valuable professionals in demand would be the chartered accountants. If I tell real story, my project leader in consulting firm has shared that her senior from IIM Ahmedabad is doing carbon accounting and carbon report auditing in Netherlands and earning hefty amounts. So there is a scope for us too. Well, फिर मिलेंगे चलते चलते हम है राही प्यार के हम है राही success के. I hope to meet you all again after we become the billionaires, adopting new scopes and new exposures. If you do not want to do the original and the fundamental auditing and taxation, then you can ditch and go for carbon accounting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mukti. It was really helpful for all of us. I request CA Sanjay Kumar Singhal, Central Council Member of ICI, to address our audience. Please give a huge round of applause.
A very good afternoon to you all, friends. My council colleague, CA Purushottam Khandelwal ji, who is the chairman for this student conference here, the Ahmedabad chairman, CA Rinkesh Shah ji, and the two ex-officio members from Ahmedabad in the regional council, one on the dais, CA Dr. Fenil Shah and CA Bishan Shah. Dear students who have presented the papers, Rakesh Agarwal ji, the expert for this session, and my dear students. I was asked to speak before the paper presenters, but I thought that I should listen to the paper presenters first. You people have come from various places and done so much of hard work. And at the same time, the kind of investment that the institute also make in its students is also significant. So the key purpose of this conference is that one is that, see, I think a big round of applause for 3 students who have presented the paper. Out of the 2,500 to 3,000 students who are in this auditorium, if 3 people are presenting, and they all meet at least one criteria of sustainability, which is diversity. All 3 are women paper presenters. So which shows the picture of our profession going forward. Already 1/3 chartered accountants are women chartered accountants, and about 43% of the students are women. So friends, first of all, I am mesmerized by this venue. I have come to Ahmedabad several times. Of course, Purushottam Bhai is nice enough that he keeps inviting me and many other council colleagues to Ahmedabad. And we are fortunate that we have 2 council members present right now from Gujarat, the smart and charming Jay Chara and the dashing Purushottam Khandelwal ji. Friends, about this venue, I think it's beautiful, marvelous. And what is more important is how best use you are making of this venue. The paper presenters are excellent, the speakers are excellent, and whatever time you get, spend inside the room when some discussions are going on. You have enough breaks. You had a wonderful cultural evening yesterday. I was also invited to come, but I thought let the students enjoy. Friends, it's very important that these 2 days you listen to the speakers. They have their experience to share with you. As far as the topic is concerned, green accounting, the future of reporting, it's pretty close to my heart. In 2020, India was the first professional institute in the world to have Sustainability Reporting Standards Board. On 12th of February 2020, this board was formed, and I was given the responsibility of becoming the first chairman of the Sustainability Reporting Standard Board. And within a short span of 2 to 3 years, we came out with the world's first sustainability reporting maturity model. We came out with the world's first 16 social audit standards, and our board was awarded by the United Nations, UNTAD, for the best board in the world, and they gave us that prize in Abu Dhabi. Many of the council members went there. 70 institutions applied for that award, and the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India was awarded as the best board as far as sustainability board is concerned. So we are the world leaders in sustainability. And why I say we are the world leaders? If you see the things around, today we talk of circular economy, but I think circular economy इंडियन से ज़्यादा कोई अच्छा नहीं जानता. मेरी जनरेशन या मुझसे एक पहले जनरेशन जो मेरे पेरेंट्स की है, अगर आप एक शर्ट पहनते हैं तो शर्ट अगर ख़राब हो गई तो पहले वो किसी और को दी जाएगी, मे बी हाउस होल्ड हेल्प को, और फाइनली जब तक उसका एज अ पोंचा यूज़ नहीं करेंगे तब तक वो डिस्कार्ड नहीं होगी. तो इससे अच्छा सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी का जो एग्जाम्पल है, आज यूज़ एंड थ्रो होता है, बट सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी का जो एग्जाम्पल है इंडिया से बेटर कहीं नहीं मिलता. आज उसके लिए बड़े बड़े वर्ड्स आ गए हैं, सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी आ गया है, लेकिन जिस तरह से इंडिया में प्रैक्टिस की जाती थी सस्टेनेबिलिटी, वाटर बॉटल्स पहले हम लेकर जाते थे, अब डिस्पोजेबल बॉटल्स होती हैं. खैर सीए इंस्टीट्यूट में हेड ऑफिस में हमने अब ग्लास बॉटल्स रखनी शुरू की हैं. पहले जो एक किसी भी प्रोडक्ट की लाइफ थी उसके जितने पॉसिबल यूसेज हैं सारे के सारे वो यूसेज किए जाते थे. नेचुरल लाइटिंग की बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंस होती थी. सो अगर हम देखें तो आज भी इंडियन हाउस होल्ड्स में सस्टेनेबिलिटी को प्रैक्टिस किया जाता है. इंडियन कंपनीज भी अब ये रियलाइज कर रही हैं कि उन्हें कार्बन एमिशन पे ध्यान देना है. सी वाई? बिकॉज वी डू नॉट हैव अ प्लैनेट बी. अर्थ पे ही हमें रहना है. मुझे नहीं लगता हम में से कोई भी अभी एक अल्टरनेट प्लैनेट इन्वेंट करने में लगा है जहां हम सारे जाके रह सकते हैं. तो जब प्लैनेट एक ही है, हमारी G20 का थीम भी था वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर. अगर ये प्लैनेट है तो हम लोग हैं. हम सोच सकते हैं कि मेरे एक प्लास्टिक की बॉटल से या मेरा 1 लीटर वाटर वेस्ट करने से क्या होगा, बट देन look at the shortages that we see around and look at the steps that we can do. अभी 5 तारीख को वर्ल्ड एनवायरनमेंट डे था and I was called on दूरदर्शन to speak on this वर्ल्ड एनवायरनमेंट डे. सो फ्रेंड्स, कई ऐसी छोटी छोटी चीज़ें हैं जो अगर हम उसको प्रैक्टिस करें तो हम बहुत बड़ा डिफरेंस ला सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एयर कंडीशनर हम 18 पे यूज़ करते हैं या 25 पे यूज़ करते हैं या 27 पे यूज़ करते हैं या 24 पे यूज़ करते हैं, दैट मेक्स अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस. यूज़ AC for between in the range of 24 to 26 degree. Each 1 degree increase in temperature of AC saves 6 to 8% of electricity. Secondly, public transport को आप यूज़ कीजिए. Third, have a rooftop solar. मेरे घर में मैंने एक सस्टेनेबल घर बनाया है, वहाँ पे नेचुरल लाइटिंग बहुत है, and now we are installing rooftop in Delhi at our home. So rooftop solar में we'll be able to get all the electricity that we require through that rooftop solar. तो ग्रिड के ऊपर कोई बर्डन नहीं आएगा. कल आपको हमारे पास प्रेसिडेंट अनिकेत तलाती जी ने एड्रेस किया. अनिकेत भाई के घर में इतनी सोलर एनर्जी जनरेट होती है कि उनके सारे इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल भी उसी से चार्ज हो जाते हैं. सो इज़ नॉट यूजिंग any grid electricity either for his normal day-to-day consumption or for charging of the electric vehicles. These are all simple steps which can be done. Paper का दोनों side use करें, which again is possible. Carpool use करें if you are using a car, और जहाँ तक possible हो electric vehicles use करें. तो ये तो बात आई common use की. हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी जो कि गुजरात से ही आते हैं, उन्होंने ये सब छोटे छोटे मंत्र बताए हैं और मैं चाहता हूँ कि हम सब इसको प्रैक्टिस करें, बिकॉज मैंने जैसा पहले कहा हमारे पास कोई अल्टरनेट फ्यूचर नहीं. नाउ लेट मी कम टू द सस्टेनेबिलिटी एज एन एरिया फॉर प्रोफेशन. इट्स एन अपकमिंग एरिया, इट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया. एज ए सेड, इंडिया इज़ वन ऑफ द लीडर इन सस्टेनेबिलिटी नाउ. और इंडिया ने जिस तरह से फॉसिल फ्यूल को रिप्लेस करना शुरू किया है, अभी जो हम पेट्रोल यूज़ करते हैं उसमें 20% एथेनॉल है, और एथेनॉल आपका वेस्ट से बनता है। ये एक ऐसा एरिया है फ्रॉम वेस्ट टू वेल्थ। मैं दिल्ली से आता हूँ और हमारे यहाँ पर किसान जो है वो पराली जलाते थे। जो पंजाब में और हरियाणा में जो फार्म प्रोड्यूस का जो लोअर हिस्सा बचता है उसको वो जला देते थे, तो बहुत सारा पॉल्यूशन होता था। इंडियन ऑयल ने उसको ऑयल में कन्वर्ट करने की टेक्निक निकाली, तो एथेनॉल का एक सोर्स वो पराली भी है। सो वो पराली जो है आज फार्मर्स को भी इनकम दे रही है, एंड एट द सेम टाइम इट इज़ बीइंग यूज्ड एज अ रिप्लेसमेंट ऑफ द फॉसिल फ्यूल। और आज ही दिल्ली में E85 फ्यूल लॉन्च हुआ है। इट्स अ फ्लेक्स फ्यूल, 85% एथेनॉल है इसमें, और ये 20 रुपीज़ पर लीटर सस्ता है। सो आपकी सेविंग भी हो रही है, और हमारा जो इंपोर्टेड ऑयल पे डिपेंडेंस है वो रिड्यूस हो रहा है, और साथ ही साथ एनवायरनमेंट पे इसका पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट है। एंड इंडिया इज़ ऑल्सो वर्किंग ऑन E100 फ्यूल, जिसके अंदर 100% जो है एथेनॉल बेस्ड फ्यूल होगा। तो अभी मारुति ने वैगन आर निकाली है जिसमें ये फ्लेक्स फ्यूल यूज़ हो सकता है। तो ऐसे नई इनोवेटिव टेक्निक्स जो हैं आज हम लोगों को अडॉप्ट करनी पड़ेगी अगर हम अपने इस प्लैनेट को बचाना है। तो अभी इस एरिया में क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं? देखिए, कार्बन मेजरमेंट की अपॉर्चुनिटी है। जब हमने वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस की थी 2022 में, तो वो कार्बन न्यूट्रल वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस थी। 10,000 लोग आए देश विदेश के अलग अलग हिस्सों से। जितना उनका कार्बन एमिशन था हमने सब मेजर किया, और वो कार्बन हमने बाय किए UNFCCC से, और उसको उस तरह से उसका ऑफसेट हुआ, एंड दैट बिकेम्स द वर्ल्ड्स फर्स्ट कार्बन न्यूट्रल वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस। तो आज ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं इसके मेजरमेंट में, इसके रिपोर्टिंग में। जैसा कि एक स्टूडेंट ने बताया, आज जो BRSR है वो हमारी टॉप 1000 लिस्टेड कंपनीज के लिए मैंडेटरी है। वी आर द फर्स्ट कंट्री इन द वर्ल्ड जो इतने एक्सटेंड तक गए हैं कि इस बार 26-27 से उन 1000 कंपनीज का ऑडिट भी मैंडेटरी है। इट स्टार्टेड विद 150, then 250, then 500, and from 26-27 all the 1000 companies, which covers 99% of the market capitalization, are required to undergo that audit. So reporting में opportunity है, audit में opportunity है, और जो GCCs हैं, जो ग्लोबल कैपेबिलिटी सेंटर हैं, जिसका एक बहुत बड़ा पोर्शन आपके गांधीनगर में, अहमदाबाद में है, इंटीग्रिटी है, QX है, जिन्होंने इवन प्राइवेट इक्विटी फंड रेज किए हैं GCC में। तो सस्टेनेबिलिटी के ग्लोबल कैपेबिलिटी सेंटर्स का इंडिया में बहुत स्कोप है। फ्रेंड्स, मैं आपको ये सजेस्ट करूँगा कि अपने सपनों की जो उड़ान है ना, उसको ऊंचा रखें। हम लोग, चाहे आप लोग इंडस्ट्री में जाएं या अपनी फर्म में जाएं, लेकिन बड़ा सोचें। मैं when I did my CA, I started my practice in which there were just 3 partners. We were able to grow only up to a limited scale because partnership firm में vision नहीं था. Then I worked in industry for almost 15 years. I worked at Fortis Healthcare, worked at Jubilant Life Sciences, and last 11 years, I'm a part of one of India's big 4 called Ernst & Young. And this started 105 years ago. Somebody had a vision of building a firm. Started with 2 partners, and today it has 1100 partners with more than 1 lakh people in India and 11,000 chartered accountants. You need to have a vision. If wherever you go, you have your firm or you have your industry, have a vision. And secondly, कभी भी थक कर हारना नहीं है. आप में से कुछ लोग होंगे जो फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में क्लियर करेंगे, कुछ लोग होंगे जिनको मल्टीपल अटेम्प्ट्स लगेंगे. लेकिन बात यह है कि आपने उसके लिए कितना एफर्ट किया. जिस बैकग्राउंड से मैं आता हूँ, आई एम द फर्स्ट जनरेशन चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इन माई फैमिली. माई फर्स्ट सैलरी आफ्टर बिकमिंग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट was 90,000 rupees a year, Small Industry Development Bank of India. But I had a vision, and today I feel probably my vision was not large enough. I had thought of growing 100 times in 25 years, but probably it was too less. We have been able to grow more than 100 times, but now time is there for India. आज आप में से जितने लोग हैं, you must have a vision of growing 200 to 500 times in next 25 years once you become chartered accountant. And India as a country offers that kind of an opportunity. What you need to do is to do efforts. There is a small Hindi poetry that I like to recite for all of you and which I have practiced in my life. Its heading is कोशिश कर, मतलब effort तो करो, कोशिश कर हल निकलेगा, कोशिश कर हल निकलेगा, आज नहीं तो कल निकलेगा। अर्जुन के तीर सा सद, अर्जुन के तीर सा सद, मरुस्थल से भी जल निकलेगा। मेहनत कर, मेहनत कर, पौधों को पानी दे, बंजर जमीन से भी फल निकलेगा। ताकत जुटा, ताकत जुटा, हिम्मत को आग दे, फौलाद का भी बल निकलेगा। जिंदा रख दिल में उम्मीदों को, जिंदा रख दिल में उम्मीदों को, गरल के समंदर से भी गंगा जल निकलेगा। कोशिश, कोशिश जारी रख, कुछ कर गुजरने की, जो है आज थमा थमा सा वो चल निकलेगा, जो है आज थमा थमा सा वो चल निकलेगा। Friends, I have always believed that those who dream the most, they do the most. When I cleared my 12th class, I come from a Hindi medium government school, never thought that I will reach to this stage. And you know, I was not fluent in English. After 12th class, I happened to visit a homeopathic doctor, Dr. Aditya Kaushik. And I'm thankful to him even today. I met him a few years ago and expressed my thanks to him. I said, Dr. Saab, I have got admission into Shri Ram College of Commerce, but you know, I'm not confident in English. And there were only 3 students in Shri Ram College from government school, myself, Sachin Jain and Sanjay Jain. Sanjay today is the Joint Secretary in the Government of India. That is Sachin, and Sanjay is the Joint Commissioner of Police, and I am the third one who became a chartered accountant. He says, for 1 month, you must commit to yourself. Whatever you will speak, whenever you will speak in English. And friends, I didn't have to turn back in my life. What I'm saying is that don't look at who you were in the past as far as the path to future is concerned. Don't keep low aims. You should aim high and do your best for that. And God will also be with you. वो शाहरुख खान का डायलॉग है ना, अगर आप किसी चीज को दिल से चाहोगे तो सारी कायनात भी. So all of you know that. So finally I'll conclude by saying, सपने वो नहीं जो नींद में आते हैं, सपने वो नहीं जो नींद में आते हैं, सपने वो हैं जो आपको सोने नहीं देते. जय हिंद, जय आईसीआई.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev sir. It was really helpful for all of us. I request our respected CA Sanjay Kumar Singhal, Central Council member of ICI, to felicitate our paper presenter, Ms. Hiral Khandelwal. Please give a huge round of applause. Ms. Chanel D'Souza. Miss Mukti Jain. thank you so much, our esteemed dignitaries on the dais. Thank you so much.
I request Fennel sir, who is an immediate past treasurer of WIRC of ICAI, who is a pillar behind Vikasa since 2007 and always keep inspiring and supporting to all the student community.
Please give a huge round of applause.
Thank you. Hello. So friends, we are running very short of time, so I'll not take much of your time. But I thought કે તમે બધા જો અહીંયા આવ્યા છો, તો I should talk with you. And I'm so proud to see all of you here because reason કે આપણા અમદાવાદમાં more than 30,000 students are there. And you are so lucky enough that from that 30,000, less than 3,000, you all are here. So I thought that let me share something with you. And friends, આપણે એવું કહી શકાય કે બધા જ સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ પોતાની ક્લેરિટી માટે કોચિંગ ક્લાસમાં જાય છે, પોતાના કોન્સેપ્ટ્સ વધારે ક્લિયર કરવા માટે સેલ્ફ સ્ટડી કરે છે અને પોતાનું પ્રોફેશનલ કોર વધારે સ્ટ્રોંગ કરવા માટે આર્ટિકલશિપમાં જાય છે. But I'm so proud of all of you that you have chosen the fourth pillar જે કદાચ બધા જ ચાર્ટર્ડ એકાઉન્ટન્ટ સ્ટુડન્ટ્સના લાઈફમાં નથી હોતું, and that is something which is, you can say, to attend this conference. So I would request you all to give a round of applause for all of you who have taken this charge to attend this conference. And આના સિવાય હું તમને ફક્ત 3 વસ્તુ કહીશ. The very first is, friends, do identify your competitor. અને હું તમને જ્યારે આવું કહીશ ને, તો you will all start seeing અહીંયા આજુબાજુ on Instagram કે who is my competitor. Then I'll say that a true competitor is not outside, or you can say a true competitor is not the other chartered accountant student, but આપણી લાઈફમાં આજે true competitor is someone who is constantly changing and constantly adapting. તો friends, જે direct textમાં changes આવી રહ્યા છે, right, the way AI is moving ahead, the way the new syllabus is coming. Yesterday Purushottam sir told, right, and day in and day out when we meet, he constantly keeps on taking suggestion કે ફેનિલભાઈ તમે કહો ક્યાં ચેન્જીસની જરૂર છે. તો ધીસ ચેન્જીસ આર ગોઈંગ ટુ કમ. વી કેન નોટ સ્ટોપ આવરસેલ્ફ ફ્રોમ ચેન્જિંગ, બટ આપણે એનાથી પહેલાં ચેન્જ થતાં શીખવું પડશે. સેકન્ડ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ પોઈન્ટ, ફ્રેન્ડ્સ, આઈ વોન્ટ ટુ ટોક ઇઝ ઓન એઆઈ. એન્ડ જ્યારે હું 2 વર્ષ પહેલાં જ્યારે એઆઈનું કંઈ કહેતો હતો ને, તો આઈ વોઝ ઓલવેઝ સેઇંગ that is AI going to replace us? Then the answer is no. But a student who knows AI is going to replace a student who doesn't know AI. આવું ક્યારે કહેતો હતો 2 વર્ષ પહેલા? But now you know, AI બધાને આવડે છે. Everyone is knowing AI. પણ બધાને ખાલી AI આવડે છે. People are not adapting to AI. So I would request you all that as a student, right, we should take the benefit of ICI initiatives, very rightly said, Aura, right, which will help you that just knowing AI is not important, but we need to implement that AI in our learning, in our studies, in our articleship, in our professional life. જો આ આપણે બધા કરી શક્યા, તો I think so our life is going to change. And at the last, હું તમને બધાને રિક્વેસ્ટ કરીશ કે they told that since 2007 I am with Vikasa, so let me share you. કદાચ તમે અહીંયા બેગ માટે આવ્યા હશો, કદાચ તમે અહીંયા કલ્ચરલ ઇવનિંગ માટે આવ્યા હશો, રાઈટ, બટ આઈ વુડ લાઈક ટુ સે that the life is a circle. Let me give gratitude to Rakesh Agarwal sir. Reason, not because he is a technical chairman today, but I very well recall, मैं volunteers meeting में अपन कदाच आ वस्तु कीधेली. I very well recall the year 2006-2007, જ્યારે હું તમારા જેવો જ એક સ્ટુડન્ટ હતો. અને આજે કેવું હતું ખબર છે? ફ્રેન્કલી તમે બધા મારા ફ્રેન્ડ્સ છો, તો તમને આમ દિલથી વાત કરીને કહી શકાય, તો તમે વધારે મર્મથી સમજી શકો. હું અહીંયા બેઠો હતો ને, ત્યારથી હું રાહ જોતો હતો કે ક્યારે મને 2 મિનિટ મળે અને હું તમારી સાથે આવીને વાત કરું. દેટ ઇઝ એક્સ્ટ્રોવર્ટનેસ. બટ ઇફ આઈ ટેક યુ ટુ 2006, જો આવું કંઈક હોત તો પહેલાં તો હું ડાયસ પર જ ના ચડ્યો હોત. અને જો કોઈએ મને કીધું હોત કે તારે 2 મિનિટ બોલવાનું છે, તો કદાચ હું ઓડિટોરિયમમાં જ ના આવ્યો હોત. But then how this change happened from being so introvert to get yourself converted to an extrovert, like as you can see today, the credit goes to, I'm openly saying the credit goes to conference like this. And my first speech in 2007 as a CA student was before Rakesh Agarwal sir, right? And he, as a paper presenter, right? And he technically analyzed all things, right? And today I'm getting an opportunity to chair with him on this particular dais. તો હું તમને બધાને કહીશ, બેગ લેજો, કલ્ચરલ ઇવનિંગ એન્જોય કર્યું, બધું જ કર્યું, but take these 2 days as a game-changing days for you. Learn about vision, learn about dream, and dream વિશે તો શું કહું? You can dream to come at this grandeur, you can dream to speak, you can dream to come on the dais, you can dream to communicate, પણ dream કરજો. And we all the organizers at this Ahmedabad branch always wish કે જેવા આજે વિકાસ અને અહીંયા volunteers છે, we want all of you to come here, and the times to come we want all of you to invite you as a session speaker. આજે તમે ત્યાંથી અમારા માટે તાલીઓ વગાડો છો, ઈશ્વર કરે એ દિવસ આવશે જ જ્યારે અમે બધા તમારા માટે પણ તાલીઓ બજાવીએ. થેન્ક યુ, થેન્ક્સ અ લોટ, ગોડ બ્લેસ યુ ઓલ.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful speech. Your words will always remain in our heart.
Now I request CA Rakesh Agarwal, a session expert, to share his comment on our paper presentation. Please give a huge round of applause.
Let me start by saying the competition was quite constructive between the 3 candidates. And each, I cannot declare the results, that's for the organizers, but if I have to say, each one of them have scored more than 95%. A big applause for them. The question arises, what is that marginal thing that I could have done? And without getting into any specific for you to conclude, I'll just give 3 or 4 broad pointers. When somebody is chosen 3 out of 30,000, each of them idea is as good as a startup. And one of the criteria is problems, solutions. Most of the startups, most of the ideas start with problems. You work on an approach which is iterative, discover the dynamic changes and reach to conclusions. And in doing so, certain qualities can be seen. And what are those qualities? I could correlate because I use ChatGPT and I could correlate a lot of things were standardized in ChatGPT. So differentiation will be Google LLM with 50 or 600 processing documents. Had we done that, we would have come out with a summary example. Nifty 50, more than half of it talks about green. More than half of it talks about targets, but only 6 companies have disclosed targets with SBTI. The balance is questionable. So these kind of extra discovery could make a difference. Whenever sustainability is a subject which is cross CA boundary, cutting across domains, cutting across jurisdiction, cutting across industries. So an element of collaboration or inputs from other profession would have added to the extra wings. The third and the foremost thing is, in the field of sustainability, the disruption is far, far ahead of AI. I'll tell you why. AI, the traditional CS that they are used to, is with respect to NLP, natural language processing, that information and frameworks are processed. A better version is data insights. But for sustainability, there are a lot of Google Earth images, lot of satellite data, lot of LIDAR, NIDAR, and lot of processing power which is taken from more than 3 million research papers to create a meaning out of it. So an element which would have reflected an extensive use of technology could have add a bit more quality to your paper presentation. And overall, the flow could be half, if it is a 10 minutes, half a minute on problem definition, then the approach, then what you selected, and what you eliminated. And finally, even if you have a conclusion, what are the limitations or self-declaration in relation to those conclusions? Would have given that extra 1 mark. So overall, all of you, 95% plus, a big thank you, I learned from you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable comments. I would request Parth to give vote of thanks.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Parth Rathod, Managing Committee Member at Vikas Ahmedabad. It's my privilege to deliver vote of thanks today. I want to extend our deepest gratitude to all our esteemed guests, CA Sanjeev Kumar Singhal Sir, Central Council Member, CA Rakesh Agarwal Sir, Session Expert, CA Fenil P. Shah Sir, Regional Council Member, and CA Shikha Ma'am, Treasurer of Ahmedabad Branch of WRC of ICAI. Thank you all for gracing the stage, sharing your brilliant insights and guiding our students today. I also want to congratulate and thank our paper presenters, Ms. Hiral Khandilwal, Ms. Chanel D. Souza, and Ms. Mukti Jain, who joined us on stage today as a part of the panel. You all did a fantastic job and you all spoke well with a great confidence. Finally, a big thank you to all our wonderful audience for your energy and active participations. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon ahead.